Welcome to Reflect with Ed Fassio. Get ready to experience one of the world's first 100% digitally generated podcasts, where we take a step back, dive deep, and strive to learn new things. Join us as we unpack thought-provoking ideas, personal reflections, and inspiring stories to help you stay in the know. Reflect is brought to you by the minds at ByteBrain and powered by emerging technologies from Google, HeyGen, OpenAI, and 11 Labs. Thanks for tuning in. Now, relax and prepare to reflect.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into something that feels really, well, not just relevant, but pretty urgent for almost everyone trying to navigate work right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing a deep dive into thriving in this new AI-driven workplace. Specifically, how to become what one author calls an agent boss.
Absolutely. And for this dive, we're working from just one key source. It's a really powerful essay by Ed Fassio, and it's got this provocative title, Becoming an Agent Boss in the AI Frontier.
Yeah.
It's a pretty unvarnished look, frankly, at the skills, the mindset, and honestly, the psychological hurdles we're all facing as AI stops being just, simple tools.
It really cuts to the chase, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So our mission today is, well, pretty straightforward. We're going to meticulously unpack this agent boss's idea based only on what Fassio writes.
Right.
We'll look at who he thinks is kind of built to thrive here, dig into why so many other folks are finding it, frankly, a struggle.
Yeah, a real struggle.
And crucially, map out the path the author lays down for how you, listening now, could potentially become one.
And Fassio, he sets the scene right away. I mean, he drops you straight into the world he's describing. The very first line in the source material itself is kind of wild. It says, "Welcome to Reflect, one of the world's first 100% AI-generated podcasts."
Whoa.
Yeah, it's almost performance art within the essay, isn't it? Signaling, hey, we're already in this AI-soaked future he's going to talk about.
That is one hell of a way to kick things off. Makes you sit up immediately, and pay attention to the landscape he's sketching.
Totally.
So, okay, let's get into the core concepts from this essay. Fassio says we're in the agentic age. What's he getting at there, this move into a new era?
Right, so he's arguing that AI isn't just like a shiny new app you pick up for one task anymore, make an image, draft an email, whatever.
Okay.
It's becoming, and this is his phrase, the interface of now. We're shifting to agent-based systems. Think co-pilots suggesting whole chunks of code.
Right, like GitHub Copilot.
Exactly. Or complex logic chains automating these multi-step business processes. Or even autonomous digital agents making decisions, within certain rules.
So it's less human using machine, more human and machine working together. Or machines working somewhat independently.
Precisely. It's a truly hybrid workplace. Humans and intelligent machines interacting, collaborating, sometimes without a human checking every single tiny step.
Okay, yeah, I see. Less about fetching info with a tool, more about telling smart systems to do stuff for you.
Yeah.
But Fassio points out a pretty brutal core tension right at the start. He just lays it out. Tools change faster than people do. That feels like the absolute foundation of the problem, doesn't it?
God, yes. It's the central conflict. The speed of AI development is it's exponential, frankly. Every few months, boom, new capabilities, new models, different integrations. Meanwhile, us humans, our psychology, our habits, our org structures, our comfort zones, we adapt like glacially compared to that.
Yeah.
And that mismatch, it's creating just massive friction.
Which leads us to the figure the author thinks is best suited to handle this chaos. The agent boss. How does he define this role? Because like you said, it's not just being a whiz at, ChatGPT prompts.
Exactly. That's not it at all. The agent boss isn't defined by prompt skills. They don't just use AI tools, they orchestrate them.
Orchestrate.
Okay, yeah, they're the architects. They integrate these smart systems into workflows, they redesign whole processes, and this is critical, they guide other humans through adopting these new ways of working.
Guiding the humans, too.
Yes. Fassio stresses they lead across a hybrid workforce. So they're directing people and these digital agents. Their leadership isn't your traditional people management. It's more like system leadership.
System leadership. So designing, deploying, directing these complex setups with both people and AI agents to get results. Okay, that definitely reframes the manager role.
Big time.
And Fassio calls these folks a rare breed. What's the psychological makeup? The core DNA of an agent boss. according to this essay.
He argues it's less about technical degrees and way more about a specific mindset, a blend of like strategic insight, emotional awareness, and operational fluency.
Okay.
He really focuses on 4 foundational traits that seem, well, indispensable.
All right, let's dig into those 4. What's number 1?
First, they are systems thinkers. This is absolutely fundamental. They don't just see their own task or even just their team's tasks. They see the whole machine, the entire end-to-end process. They get cause and effect, dependencies, feedback loops.
They see how all the pieces connect.
Exactly. They're the architects of the workflow, not just, operators doing steps someone else designed. They understand how tweaking one thing over here makes waves way over there.
Seeing the whole damn thing and how it ticks.
Yeah.
Got it. What's trait number 2 he highlights?
Second, rapid unlearners. Okay, this one might be the most painful, but also necessary.
Uh-oh.
Because the tools change so fast, what worked last month might be totally useless today. Agent bosses are deeply comfortable being uncomfortable. They actively ditch outdated knowledge, old habits. They adapt to what actually works now, even if it totally contradicts how they've always done it. Fassio is clear. Real growth now demands this constant shedding of the past.
Wow.
Sticking to how we've always done it, that's just, it's a death sentence.
That takes a serious level of intellectual humility, doesn't it? To just admit, okay, my expertise here expired.
It absolutely does. Okay. Third, he talks about techno-empaths. This is fascinating and I think often missed.
Techno-empaths. Tell me more.
Agent bosses don't approach AI with just like fear or cold logic. They actually humanize it. They get the very real anxiety people feel about machines messing with their jobs. Remember that 40% severe anxiety stat we'll get to?
Yeah.
They actively help other people engage with AI in ways that lower stress and build trust. They're like bridge builders across that human-machine divide. They deal with the emotional side of this change.
So they're not just tech savvy. They've got serious EQ focused specifically on how people react to this tech.
Precisely. They help people see the partnership, the augmentation potential, not just the scary replacement idea.
Makes sense.
And the 4th trait is low ego, high integrity. Fassio says they're just obsessed with clarity, truth, and utility, like what works and what helps, not about getting personal credit or being seen as the AI guru.
Interesting.
They build out in the open, share their methods freely, and they lead through service. They enable others to adapt and win alongside these new systems.
That kind of flips the old power dynamic, right? Where knowledge was power you hoarded. Here, the power comes from spreading it around, empowering others.
Exactly. And he really hammers home why these aren't just, nice to haves. They are essential because, like we said, human adaptation is crawling while tech is sprinting.
Which slams us right into what the author calls the human capacity gap. That sounds like the critical problem we're really facing.
Oh, it is. The essay lays it out as this urgent challenge. It's the widening gulf between how fast AI is advancing and our collective human ability, our capacity to keep up.
And capacity means more than just skills.
Way more. Not just technical skill. It's our cognitive ability to even absorb the change, our emotional resilience to handle the uncertainty, and our behavioral flexibility to actually do work in totally new ways.
Oh.
And it's not just theory. He says the data is already screaming about this gap.
Okay, let's hear the data points Fassio uses.
Yeah.
Because, this isn't just a feeling people have. It's measurable distress.
Right. So he points to a 2024 McKinsey study, pretty recent, showing that a huge 40% of global employees report severe anxiety about AI impacting or just straight up replacing their jobs.
40%. Severe anxiety. That's staggering. Just individually devastating. And think about what that does to an organization's morale, productivity. My God.
It's a massive human cost, yeah. He also brings up a 2023 MIT Sloan report. It found over 60% of managers admitted they do not feel confident leading their teams through changes involving AI workflows.
Wait, so the managers, the very people supposed to guide their teams through this huge shift, feel fundamentally unprepared themselves. That's, like sending a captain out with no map or compass.
It just creates this awful spiral of uncertainty, right? And then there's the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report. It explicitly names adaptability gaps as a top risk for businesses globally.
So it's a recognized business risk, too.
Absolutely. Fassio's core point here is that this isn't just a skills gap you fix with a couple of workshops. He calls it an existential dissonance.
Existential dissonance. Wow, that phrase hits hard.
Yeah. It challenges people's sense of purpose, their identity wrapped up in their job, their value. Getting through this, it needs time, real clarity, and crucially, psychological safety. People need space to rewrite their roles and, importantly, learn in public without being shamed.
Okay, that captures the depth of it, beyond just learning new software. So when this change speeds past people's ability to cope, what does the author say happens? What are the psychological defaults?
He spots 4 common patterns people tend to fall back into when change feels overwhelming or just impossible to keep up with.
Okay, lay out those 4 patterns for us.
First one, avoidance. Pretty classic, right? Head in the sand, people downplay it, hope it's just hype, a fad, it won't affect me.
Been there. Okay, what's next?
Then there's resentment. People feel angry, bitter about the disruption. Why the hell should I change? Things were fine, you know.
Yeah, that resistance born of frustration or feeling like it's unfair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Third is resignation.
Yeah.
Just giving up before you really even try. I'll never get this stuff. It's too complex. What's the point? I'm screwed anyway. Just total shutdown.
Avoidance, resentment, resignation. Man, that sounds like a terrible trap. Locking people into just inaction or negativity.
They really are. And the author points out that real transformation, becoming an agent boss or even just thriving alongside AI, it only happens with the 4th pattern, which he notes is much rarer. Reinvention.
Reinvention.
Yeah. This is the mindset where you acknowledge it's hard, maybe scary as hell, but you embrace the challenge. It's the, okay, I don't get this yet. This feels super uncomfortable, but damn it, I'm ready to learn and figure it out.
That ready to learn bit? That circles right back to the rapid unlearner trait, doesn't it?
Right.
Leaning into the discomfort.
Totally connected. And Fassio argues this is exactly why those traditional change management models, like 80 Care or Cotter, they often stumble or just plain fail when it comes to AI transformation.
Right. What's the fundamental problem there? Why don't they work as well?
Well, those classic models, they were great for more stable times, right? They usually assume change is kind of linear, predictable. You analyze, you plan, you roll out training, reinforce. It's step by step.
Okay.
But AI transformation, it's not linear at all. It's exponential. It's super iterative. The tech changes while you're still trying to implement it.
Yeah, that's true.
And like we saw with those anxiety numbers, it's deeply emotionally charged. Those old models just weren't built for managing constant, unpredictable shifts that challenge people's core identities.
So the old playbooks just aren't cutting it for this new kind of chaotic game. What's the alternative approach the essay suggests then?
He championed something called outcome backwards design. Basically, instead of focusing on rolling out a specific AI tool or forcing people through some generic training,
Right.
you start with the specific, measurable future state you want the outcome, and then you reverse engineer everything required to get there, focusing really heavily on the human and the process side of things.
Outcome backwards design. Okay, let's break down the steps he outlines. Start with the outcome.
Right.
Give us that example he uses.
Right. Step 1. Start with a specific outcome. He uses a really concrete example. Within 6 months, 50% of customer support tickets get resolved by an AI agent, hitting a 90% customer satisfaction score.
Okay, that's super specific. Hard numbers, time frame, clear result, no fuzziness.
Exactly. Step 2, reverse engineer the behavior. Okay, based on that outcome, what do the support agents, the managers, the customers, maybe even other teams, what do they need to do differently?
Focus on the actions.
Yes. How do roles shift? What new skills pop up? What anxieties or resistance points might they hit? And how do you design for that? It forces you to think about the people, and the process changes right away, not, as an afterthought.
So it's not how do we jam this AI in, it's what behaviors get us the outcome and how does AI help enable those behaviors?
You got it. Step 3, design for process, not org chart. This is big. AI agents, automated workflows. They don't give a damn about our neat departmental silos, right?
Yeah.
They cut across teams, functions, boundaries. So you have to design the system, the workflow, based on the outcome you want. Optimize for efficiency, for human-AI collaboration, not constrained by existing job titles or who reports to whom or, departmental turf.
Wow, that implies a pretty significant rethink of how organizations even structure work itself.
Oh, absolutely. It demands a much more fluid view of how work actually gets done. Step 4, introduce AI as a partner, not a threat. This ties back to that techno-empath idea. Fassio really stresses starting with pilot programs, showing off small, real wins, and relentlessly using storytelling to show how AI augments people, frees them from drudgery, makes jobs more interesting, not just hammering on replacement or cold efficiency stats.
So framing the whole narrative around empowerment and working together.
Precisely. And the final step, normalize public learning. You have to create spaces where people feel safe to actually try the AI, to mess up, he calls it failing forward, and to ask seemingly dumb questions without feeling judged.
Okay, make it safe to not know.
Yes. Celebrate the learning, the iteration, not just demand perfection from day one. Building trust and competence. It needs vulnerability and support.
That sounds like actively cultivating a culture that's geared for this kind of continuous, messy learning around AI.
It really does. So outcome backwards design. It treats AI adoption as fundamentally a human-centered transformation. It gets that success is less about the software itself and more about helping humans adapt, learn, and work effectively with these new intelligent systems.
Okay, this paints a really clear picture. We got the landscape, the agent boss's ideal, the big problem, that human capacity gap, and this outcome backwards model. Now, if someone's listening and thinking, okay, this agent boss thing makes sense, but I'm not some coder in Silicon Valley, what's the path forward? Fassio's essay. Does it say this role is actually accessible?
Yeah, he's actually really encouraging here. He explicitly says this isn't just for some technical elite. It's open to, and I quote, anyone willing to think differently and act boldly.
Okay, good.
And he lays out a practical 5-step path someone could literally start on today.
All right, let's hear it. Give us this 5-step roadmap to becoming an agent boss.
Step 1. Rewire your mindset. This is all about training your brain to see systems dependencies. He says, practice mapping out processes you deal with regularly, work stuff, even personal life stuff.
So, mapping.
Yeah, use simple diagrams, a whiteboard, sticky notes, whatever. Just start visualizing the workflow, the cause and effect, how things connect. Stop seeing just a list of tasks, start seeing the whole system.
Start seeing the matrix, basically.
Haha, yeah, exactly. Step 2, build conversational fluency with AI. This isn't about becoming a master prompt engineer overnight. It's about actively using the tools, ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, whatever you have access to solve real problems you actually face.
Yeah, practical use.
Learn how to give context, structure requests, have those back and forth chats to refine what you get. Treat it like learning to delegate to a super smart but very literal junior assistant.
Getting hands-on, learning the rhythm of working with an AI. Makes sense.
Right. Step 3. Automate one thing. Start really small, totally achievable. Find one single repetitive task in your day, sending a certain kind of email, summarizing notes, organizing files.
Yeah.
Use a no-code tool like Zapier, Power Automate, maybe even built-in features in software you already use, and just automate that one thing. Get that win, feel that satisfaction, and learn the basics of connecting tools.
Nice. Pick one annoying thing and zap it with automation. Makes it feel less overwhelming.
Totally. Step 4, design your agent stack. Okay, once you're comfy automating little things, start thinking bigger. Start assigning specific roles to AI tools or simple automations in your workflow.
Roles.
Yeah.
Like job titles for AI.
Kind of. Fassio suggests thinking like, okay, this tool is my scout. It finds info. This one's my planner, helps structure things. This one's my builder, drafts content or code. This one's my guardian, checks quality or compliance. Start building this little digital team and learn to conduct them for a bigger task.
Consciously giving jobs to your AI tools, like their colleagues in a system you're directing.
Exactly. Seeing them as parts of a system you manage. And finally, step 5, teach others what you build. This is key. Document the process you mapped, the automation you built, that agent stack you designed.
Okay.
Share it explicitly with your colleagues. Be the guide for someone maybe just a step or two behind you on this journey. Don't hoard what you learn. Spread it.
Learn it, build it, then share it to lift others. That feels like it directly connects back to that low ego, high integrity and techno-empath stuff we talked about.
It totally ties it all together, yeah. It's a path of learning constantly and sharing the progress.
Man, this has been a really, really illuminating deep dive into Fassio's specific way of thinking about this AI frontier.
Yeah.
So wrapping up, what's the ultimate takeaway, the core message he leaves us with in the essay?
Well, his closing thought is pretty profound. He says this whole shift isn't just technical, it's a human reckoning, is the phrase he uses.
Wow, a human reckoning.
Yeah. It's fundamentally challenging us to evolve, to rethink our skills, our roles, maybe even our professional identities. But he frames it less as something to despair about and more as this deep call to rise to the occasion.
A call for reinvention, but on a massive scale.
Exactly. And he reassures us, agent bosses aren't some kind of mythical superhero. They are, and I love this phrase, just human enough to evolve.
Just human enough to evolve.
They listen, they build, they adapt constantly, and so critically, they bring other people along with them. His final message is really one of accessibility. If you cultivate that systems thinking, if you commit to learning relentlessly, and if you choose to lead with integrity, with service, then, he says, there's room for you at the frontier.
That's hopeful, actually. And he leaves us with that really powerful simple bit of encouragement from the essay itself, right? You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start.
He does. And just like that unique opening, the source text itself wraps up with this specific line, linking back to that AI podcast thing. Thanks for listening to the Reflect podcast, where we're telling the future. Are you in it? Visit reflectpodcast.com and share your story. It just reinforces that this future is happening now and kind of invites you to jump in.
That's a really unique bookend for an essay on this topic, folding the medium right into the message. Okay, so reflecting on all this stuff we've unpacked today, the agentic age, the human capacity gap, those scary anxiety stats, the manager confidence crisis, the 4 psychological patterns, outcome backwards design, the 5-step path, it is definitely a lot to chew on.
For sure.
So here's a provocative thought for you, the listener, to maybe just sit with after this deep dive. Given the sheer scale of that human capacity gap and those psychological defaults people naturally fall into, what do you honestly think is the single most challenging yet also the most crucial first step, maybe for an organization, or maybe more importantly for you personally, to genuinely start bridging that gap?
Oof. Yeah, that's a question that requires some real thinking, doesn't it? And probably a healthy dose of that rapid unlearning, too.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into becoming an agent boss in the AI frontier, all based on Ed Fassio's essay.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's a conversation we all need to be having.
We really hope this deep dive gave you some valuable insights, maybe spark some critical thinking about your own role, your own path in this age of AI. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep learning and just start.
In the cyber ocean of online voices and recycled content, something different has arrived. Reflect isn't just another podcast, it's the future of storytelling, powered entirely by AI. From curating data to assembling thought-provoking ideas, we've redefined how journeys are told. Reflect is a podcast that thinks, learns, and evolves with each episode. Every tale, every insight, crafted by the most advanced AI technologies. A podcast that disrupts the industry, breaking free from traditional formats, taking you on an entirely new experience. So tune in now and reflect. We're telling the future.